but we are almost set for action here at St James's Park as the players do their pre-game handshake. Flags all around. A big Sandro Tonali flag away to our right in the Gallowgate end, showing their support behind their troubled midfielder who is on the bench today. Let me go through the teams then. Nick Pope is in goal for Newcastle. Trippier, Lascelles, Shah and Byrne at the back. Longstaff, Gimaresh and Joe Linton across the middle, with Murphy, Wilson and Gordon in the attacking positions. For the visitors, Sam Johnson is in goal. Mitchell, Gurhey, Anderson and Ward the back four. Decore, Hughes and Lerma across the middle, with Hudson Edouard, Jean-Philippe Mateta and Jordan Ayew up top. On the bench, Dubravka is the goalkeeper for Newcastle. Dummett, Tonali, Target, Isak, Hall, Livramento, Almiron and Anderson. And for Palace, Rory Matthews is the backup keeper, with Holding, Franca, Klein, Richards, Ahmada, Riedewald, Raksaki and Ozzo on the bench. So pre-match formalities nearly all done. Two great kits, the black and white of Newcastle, the red and blue halves of Crystal Palace. We're almost set for action, Mickey. Big game feel. Looking forward to it.
No, absolutely, yeah. Back to the Premier League, which I think we always miss, don't we, when we have international duty, but both sets of players will be wanting to get off the mark as quick as they possibly can. Keep this nice little run that they've got going. Newcastle unbeaten in 7. And Crystal Palace have only lost 1 in 6 themselves. So absolutely, two sides full of confidence and wanting that momentum to continue forward. But the threats are going to be Callum Wilson, back in the starting 11 for Newcastle, wanting to add to the 4 Premier League goals he's got this season. And where are the goals going to come from Crystal Palace when they get their opportunity? So it's going to be a tight encounter, as we touched on earlier. But yeah, a real good game at St James's Park.
Yeah. Two teams, two captains just going through the coin toss and the handshake. Newcastle will want to defend the Gallowgate end first half here, and that's how Palace have lined up to attack that end of the field. Joel Ward and Jamal Lascelles. Oh no, they're not. They are going to turn around. So maybe first psychological advantage goes the way of Palace. It looked, to all intents and purposes, Palace were lined up to attack the Gallowgate end first half. Well, the mind games have started already here, and Newcastle will go from left to right here. But ahead of kick-off, we will have a moment's silence. The Premier League is shocked and saddened by the escalating crisis in Israel and Gaza, and strongly condemns the horrific and brutal acts of violence against innocent civilians. We hope for peace, and our heartfelt sympathies are with the victims, their families and the communities impacted. As a mark of respect for all those affected, Premier League players and managers and match officials will all wear a black armband and observe a minute's silence ahead of kick-off. And the league will also make a donation to the British Red Cross to support aid efforts helping those in urgent need.
This will begin and end on the referee's whistle.
Well, that was impeccable, as it should be, of course. And I thought so with everyone affected in that ongoing crisis. Right, Newcastle going from left to right. We don't say that too many times, Mickey Gray, when we come here. What do you make of that move from Palace?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And I think Roy Hodgson's probably said, look, if we can keep this, or keep a clean sheet for the first 45 minutes of this game, we haven't got the forwards of Newcastle running towards the Gallowgate end in the second half. So, I mean, it's an interesting one. If it works tactically for Roy, then good on him. But I think there's no doubt Newcastle in the first 45 minutes will want to put the pressure on this back line of Crystal Palace.
Yeah, plenty more live football to come tonight over on TalkSport. It's Sheffield United against Manchester United, live from 8 o'clock. Faker others, Ian Danton, the former Leeds women's striker, Lucy Ward, and then on Monday night, more live and exclusive Premier League commentary. Spurs against Fulham, Adrian Durham, joined by Sam Matterface. Ali McCoist is part of that as well. He's on breakfast on Monday and Tuesday. and they'll be doubling up on Monday night as Newcastle get us underway. That looked like that pass went out from Kieran Trippier. It did, and the first throw-in will go the way of Crystal Palace, just in front of Roy Hodgson, who looks on from the visitors' dugout. Pleased to say it's dry here, which is always a worry as a member of the press when you come to St James's Park. When it rains here, you get wet. Thankfully, it's dry. After all the rain we've had over the last 48 hours, we're up you're safe and sound. Anderson will go long, looking out to that right-hand side. Burns going to let that skip away, and it's out for a throw into Newcastle United.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bright start, hasn't it, from both sides, which you would expect, back in Premier League action as well. I think a novelty there was Kieran Trippier, his first touch giving the ball away. I've not seen that too many times this season, Mark. He's had an incredible season, hasn't he, yet again? Yeah,
he has, and he might be getting in here down the right-hand side. The ball from Murphy was just behind him, but he's played it back into Murphy. Down the byline, he was just beaten across it by Gurhey, who puts it behind for a corner. But that was good play from Newcastle down there, right-hand side.
Yeah, well, if there was any nerves, they're settled now, aren't they, from Newcastle? You can see trying to get the ball over to this right-hand side with Trippier and Murphy running in behind. I think we'll see that a lot this afternoon.
Here's the corner then. Trippier's going to swing it in front of the Gallagher end. Bit of pushing and shoving on the 6-yard box. Played short here. Gordon will lay it back. Trippier is onside. He'll put the cross to the far post, and it goes all the way through the 6-yard box, and it's behind for a Palace goal kick.
What a ball. Great move. I was expecting the ball to come straight into the box there from Kieran Trippier. Normally, your first corner of the game, you test the back line of Crystal Palace, see if they're up for it. Short corner there, but as it was played back to him first time, he just took so much care, didn't he, to try and put it across that 6-yard box. And as he does 99 times out of 100, puts a wonderful ball into the box, just waiting for somebody just to get their head on the end of that.
Yeah, Sam Johnson will clear his lines towards this near side. Edouard is beaten in the air, and Lascelles has gone down here. I don't know what happened there. Maybe just took a knock. In fact, Edouard's holding the back of his head, so I'm assuming there's been a clash of heads here. Watson Edouard is just rubbing the back of his neck, and Lascelles, like a boxer almost, he's just gone down on one knee to take a count and just get a breath back in there.
Yeah, he has. He's took his 8 count, and I was worried, Mark, because I'm just having a look at his right thigh, which is heavily strapped. And as you come down from winning a header and just landing onto your right foot, he might have just strained something there. But fortunately and luckily for him, he's okay.
Yeah, so Rick Mitchell will head the ball forward for Palace. That away end, by the way, is actually filled up now, so the Palace fans clearly have found a way to get here. Good on them. Here now, down this near side, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Ball kicked into his chest and out for a Newcastle throw-in. At around about 3 minutes here. You're live on TalkSport 2. Mark Wilson and Mickey Gray here for Newcastle. What a pass that is, by the way. Trippier on the volley has just volleyed it across the edge of his own area, straight to Fabian Schär. He brings it down. Dan Burn now is getting forward. Here's Joel Linton. Nice little Cruyff turn on halfway for him. Gets it out wide on the left-hand side. The far side of the pitch bathed in sunlight here. Burn is onside. Now, he had time there to put a cross in. There were 4 waiting in the middle for it. Instead, he'll go back here, and Schär will get it. And he, if he looks up, has got Lascelles with him. Lascelles in the centre circle. And Newcastle building patiently here. The Palace team back in their formation. Pitch is looking great when you consider the rain we have had in this part of the world and all over England. And no problems at all as the ball played out wide. Trippier, cushion volley for Murphy. Murphy goes for the lob. Oh, he scored! Fantastic goal! Not sure well he's going to be ruled out. The offside flag has gone up, and I think it's Trippier who is offside. And the referee and the assistant quick to call a halt to that. I'm not sure he went for the shot, Mickey. It looked like a cross. He toe poked it in. Just having a look at the video now. I think he's onside. We've got the benefit here. I think he's onside, Mickey. The player in the middle, I think he's playing him onside. I think VAR's going to check this.
Well, Mark, I'll take your word for it, but I think in real play, he actually did look onside to me. Let's start from the Mook shot. What a great diagonal pass. Lovely first-time volley from Trippier. And you're right, he never really went to score there, Jacob Murphy. He was just trying to pull it across the 6-yard area. And it's kind of come off the top of his toes and just looped over Sam Johnson.
They're just getting a look at it now. I think they're about to draw it. I think he's onside. It's really tight to tell. There's a player in the middle who's... At that angle that I'm seeing now, I think there's a player in the middle. He's onside here. I think this is going to be given. Yeah. I think Murphy is going to get the goal. It's going to be given. This is going to be onside. They've drawn the lines on the pitch. So Murphy Is this goal going to count? The referee's getting a message now here at St James's Park. They all wait on. The lines on the pitch said that he was onside. The most unlikely of goals. Sam Johnston, has he been beaten here? The referee waits and he says, goal Newcastle! Newcastle lead. Murphy belatedly gets to celebrate. Trippier looked onside, the cushion volley in. Murphy just stretching, toe poked it, looped it over the goalkeeper, and Newcastle have got their early goal. It's Newcastle 1, Palace 0.
Talk about those tactics of turning Newcastle round before this game actually started. Well, it's not really worked in the away side's favour, has it? It's certainly worked in Newcastle's favour. Talked about that move, brilliant move from back to front, the diagonal pass, the volley pass from then Trippier. And Jacob Murphy just getting away from his mark, he just scoops his right foot towards the ball. Yes, it was a cross, but he doesn't care anymore. Straight over the top of Sam Johnson into the back of the net. Absolutely brilliant start for the Geordies.
6 on the clock. And you just felt Trippier was looking along the line. He surely knew that he was onside. There was a player in the middle of the defence. I think it might have been Gurley playing him on. And Newcastle leads. Well, the assistant put his flag up straight away, and Roy Hodgson's game plan now might need to change as he looks on from down below us. But a perfect start for Newcastle. But forward here come the visitors with Jefferson Lerma. Lerma to the edge of the area. Gets it away here. Cross comes in. Hughes arriving 10 yards out. Just couldn't get on the end of it. He was beaten to it. And it's poked behind for a corner. But that was a great chance. If that ball is into the path of Will Hughes, it should have been 1-1.
Oh, absolutely. Lovely move there from Crystal Palace. Mateta does really well on the right-hand side. I want to see him in the box, actually. But he puts a great ball across the 6-yard area. And Will Hughes is just inches away from what you would call a tap-in, really, for the equalising goal. Good start to the game.
He's going to take the corner now. He's going to swing it in left-footed towards the 6-yard box. Free header and put wide of the post, and that was a chance. Mateta, I think it was, who got up highest, but he couldn't divert it on target. That was another big Palace opportunity.
Well, if Newcastle thought they could sit back on this 1-goal lead, then think again. Crystal Palace have certainly came. They've had to come out the traps now, maybe play a different style, because the first 5 or 6 minutes haven't really gone their way. But they've showed themselves, they've got intent, they've got some great footballers, they've got into some really good positions, and looking as quick as they possibly can to get themselves back that equalising goal.
Yeah, Barnet in front against Maidenhead in the National League. Idris Kanu with a goal there, and Stockport lead Grimsby by a goal to 0. Louis Barry with that one. Trippier plays it forward, intercepted that time by Mitchell, but he's lost out to the goal scorer Murphy. First time ball here, now a chance down the right-hand side for Longstaff, floats across far post, and a great header off the line from Palace. They were living dangerously. Callum Wilson was arriving as a crunching tackle goes in there from Trippier. And Newcastle United at the moment, they're all over this.
What a tackle. Oh, it's like a throwback, that, Mark, wasn't it? Mitchell and Trippier both sitting on the ground now. I hope they're actually okay, but you could hear the cheer. It was like a goal. Well, end-to-end footballer yet again. Super little ball from Guimaraes. Got a little bit of fortune, a slight deflection, but the ball into the box. And Joel Ward at the back stick. He had to leap, clear his lines. Absolutely fantastic defending.
Yeah, both players down. Trippier's up and hobbled off. Well, he hasn't had physio on, so he might actually be able to stay on the field. But Mitchell is down, getting treatment to that right knee area. I can tell you there's been a goal in the Premier League. Manchester City 1, Brighton 0. Julian Alvarez with the goal. And Dale Charles has put Bolton in front against Northampton. And Stoke leads Sunderland. Ryan May with a goal for Stoke. Mickey looks up to the sky in frustration. Alex Neil against his former club. Stoke lead Sunderland. Here it is Newcastle 1, Palace 0. And well, look, the assistant gave offside straight away, so Jacob Murphy never really got the chance to celebrate the goal until after a minute or so's delay. But they got there in the end, and Murphy, the unlikely scorer. And Eddie Howe will be delighted because he made 4 changes today. One of those was Murphy, and he's come in and grabbed a goal.
Yeah, he won't mind how that ball found its way into the back of the net, Mark. It was all about the run. You don't make those willing runs in behind and give yourself opportunity of getting into the 18-yard box, then you're not going to get yourself on the score sheet. Got a good little bit of good fortune, but it was the diagonal pass from Shaw across to Trippier. The ball didn't hit the ground. Then there was the volley pass, one bounce. And then just that little flick from Jacob Murphy. Good fortune, got themselves in front. And you heard the stadium. Talked about that turnaround before kick-off. How important that is for Newcastle to get off to a good start. And they've certainly done that and looking to back it up again.
Well, Trippier can take the throw-in because he didn't get treatment. He's hobbling around a little bit, but he's back on. Tyreek Mitchell, I'm glad to say, is up on his feet. He's just stretching on this near side. Newcastle 1-0 up and have got the ball now, and they're playing it forward. Here is Trippier again. Neat little turn takes him away from one. Guimaraes showed in the middle, but they go back to Shah instead. And Shah now will play a ball. Trippier's getting too much freedom down the right. He's in again here. Whips in an early ball. It might fall to Guimaraes edge of the area. He goes back. And they'll keep possession. Again, they're coming to the right-hand side. And again, Kieran Trippier's got 5 or 6 yards of space. Gets it to Murphy. Murphy swings a great ball in, bounces in the 6-yard box. He's volleyed up in the air by Palace. Can't clear their lines. There's a bit of pushing and pulling. And eventually the ball goes out for a corner. That was a great ball from Murphy. Was begging for Newcastle to put it in for 2-0.
Well, Roy Hodgson's going to have to do something about this right-hand side of Newcastle with Jacob Murphy and Kieran Trippier getting too much space. And then you look at the back line of Crystal Palace. I've never seen them look as nervous as this.
No. Well, the ball is in front of the Gallagher end. Corner kick. Everybody back for Palace. They'll be happy at the moment. It's only 1-0. That Murphy goal giving Newcastle the lead. Trippier then from the corner is going to whip it towards the far post where there are plenty of black and white shirts. Joe Linton's header skimmed off the top of his head. Gordon done well to keep it in. He'll get it away. Little flick there from Guimaraes. Couldn't quite find Longstaff, and it's out for a throw into Newcastle, about 10 yards away from the corner flag.
Well, you just see the confidence starting to flow through this Newcastle team now. Little flicks round the corner from Guimaraes, who we know is a wonderful talent. These Geordie supporters absolutely love him, but Anthony Gordon getting himself involved. So what a resurgence it's been from him, Mark. Yeah. You think about when he came from Everton, there was maybe a few raised eyebrows, a lot of money for him, but he's been outstanding. Here
he is now, and again Trippier's made a run, and again Trippier gets it down the right hand side, crosses a bit deep, and it is too deep in the end, and Joe Linton will try and keep it in. I think he has. No, he hasn't. It's gone out. I've got some good news for you, Mickey. Come off the hour, come off the man. Jack Clark has scored again for Sunderland. Wow. Stoke 1, Sunderland 1. His fantastic season continues.
Certainly does. I think that's 8 league goals he's got this season. I think he's top scorer in the Championship, which is fantastic news, but I'll keep my hands underneath my backside for now.
Huddersfield 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Keane Harrop with a goal. Salford leads Swindon by a goal to 0. Bristol Rovers are 1-up at Burton. Wigan 1-up at Exeter. Here it's 1-0 to Newcastle United, live and exclusive on TalkSport 2. And Trippier again gets the ball on the right-hand side. Gets it away. Guimaraes looks up, gives it back to Trippier now. Ball played in, he's looking here. Nice touch on the edge of the area from Wilson. Can't quite get the ball out of his feet. And in the end, he was looking maybe to pass to Joe Linton. And you just wonder there, should he have taken that a little bit earlier? Here now is Odsonne Edouard on halfway. Gets it away on the far side of the field. Lerma has it. Looks up. Tyreek Mitchell's made a good run on this left-hand side. Odsonne Edouard has it, and he'll place a nice ball into Mitchell, who's got in behind Trippier. Pulls the ball back. Trippier blocks it. Back to Mitchell. Pokes it across goal. Headed away, but into the edge of the penalty area. Longstaff is there to clear it partially away, but Palace will get it back. Well, they haven't had much ball going forward, but they have created a couple of good chances, Crystal Palace here, haven't they? And maybe just signs that Newcastle can't switch off defensively.
No, they're getting themselves into some great positions, Crystal Palace. They're such an end-to-end game of football. So many spaces and so many mistakes.
Well, Bruno Guimaraes has just weaved his way past 2 before Jefferson Lerma dumps him to the ground. The crowd wanted a yellow card there. I think Tim Robinson is going to be lenient and not give one at this moment. And it's a free kick for Newcastle on halfway. 14 gone here, live on TalkSport 2. Mark Wilson with a former Sunderland and England man. Mickey Gray, Newcastle leading by a goal to 0. But well, all the talk of 0-0s before the game, Mickey, we've had a brilliant 14 minutes.
Yeah, we certainly have, yeah. It's a lot more open, this game, than I expected it to be. I looked at Roy's side, even bringing Toure and Lerma back into the starting 11. It just looked like they were going to sit back, but maybe that early goal from Newcastle's kind of shook them up a little bit, where they've had to push certain individuals into a more advanced position to get themselves back onto level terms. But yeah, it's been end-to-end, some nice football, some great moves.
Nice little flick there by Murphy, was looking for Callum Wilson. 3 and 6 for Wilson, couldn't get on the end of it. Swindon weren't behind at Salford for long. Salford 1, Swindon 1. Romeo Hutton with a goal on 11 minutes. As Johnston has it, and he will bowl it out on this near side to Gurhey, who's instantly closed down. Johnston's got it back, and Wilson's leading the Newcastle charge forward here. Hughes controls it in the middle of his own half, gets it away. Some neat football there from Palace. They work it forward. Mateta will rather jump into Shah. Shah heads it out, and it's going to be a throw-in for Palace, who actually played that pretty well.
Yeah, got themselves out of a tight situation, which was very good, and I think now having Mateta up front, who's a big lad, I have to say, he can hold the ball up very well, and then that gives the opportunity for the wide players to help him out a little bit. But that's where we've got to try and work it through the lines a little bit better.
Well, here's Murphy, who's picked the ball up in the final third. Hughes with a sliding challenge that fell nicely there for Anderson, who clears the ball forward. And the ball out. Eddie Howe couldn't quite hang on to it, and it goes out for a throw-in. Huddersfield have doubled their lead. Jack Radoni has scored a second for Huddersfield. They lead Queen's Park Rangers by 2-0. Southend lead Solihull in the National League by 1-0. Daniel Kanu with a goal there. Ball played forward. Newcastle win it back. Edouard closes down Lascelles, and it's out for a throw-in with 16 on the clock. 1-0 if you just joined us. Jacob Murphy with a goal inside 6 minutes. Trippier cushion volley. Murphy rather toe-poked it, hopefully to the far post, and it looped over the goalkeeper and went in. And after the linesman officially ruled it out initially, VAR gave the goal as Wilson was trying to get in behind, but he's beaten to it by the Palace defence. Here is Johnston now. We'll just side foot pass to Mitchell. Mitchell forward. Lascelles gathers it. Been a goal down on the south coast. Bournemouth lead Wolves by 1-0. Dominic Solanke with a goal. Gary O'Neill up against his former side there, but Dominic Solanke has got the goal. And Bournemouth lead. Not been a great start for Bournemouth, has it? That's a big game, that one, isn't it? Bottom of the Premier League today.
Well, it is, considering they were adamant they wanted to make that change in the summer as well, managerial side of things, which is always going to take a little bit of time to get you settled 11. Yeah, they need to start, and very soon, Mark, as well, starting to pick points up in the Premier League, or they could get left behind.
Yeah, Randell Williams has got a second Bolton goal. Bolton 2, Northampton 0. And here at the back, Newcastle have it. Ball played out towards this near side. Dortmund here in midweek. Plenty of live football coming up across the TalkSport network as Trippier was caught by Hudson Edouard there. I don't think he appreciated that tackle either, but it is only a throw-in, so we'll have to get on with it.
He impresses me more and more every single time I see him live, Mark, here in Trippier. I thought maybe the higher the level that he found himself in, the lack of pace, and I'm not saying he's the slowest in the world, because he's not, but when you think about Kyle Walker and other right backs that we have playing for the national team of England, I thought that's where he'd miss out, but his understanding of the game is just absolutely top class.
Yeah, he's struggling to get back here though. Hudson Edouard is closed down by Murphy, but the ball will come off Murphy, and it's out for a corner kick there. Trippier still remonstrating with the referee that he didn't get a free kick up the other end, but another set-piece opportunity here for Palace. 18 gone. Their fans high up away to our left-hand side. And the ball going to be swung in by Will Hughes. Everybody back for Newcastle. Joe Ward is just patrolling midway between the edge of the box and the edge of halfway. Everyone other than Sam Johnston is in the Newcastle half. Ball swung in towards the 6-yard box, headed away. Joe Linton, it'll fall to Mitchell on the volley, and he lets go a left footer, but he hit it well, but never had the control of it, and it goes over, and it's a goal kick.
I think we can say that's a left-back strike, Mark, from the edge of the 18-yard box. I haven't been there on many occasions myself. I think everything lights up in front of you and you think, OK, I'm going to get my name on the score sheet here, and then everything just goes completely wrong. Because he had so much time. It's probably an opportunity that he gets in training and fires into the top corner every single time. But the pressure of match day maybe got the better of Mitchell there as well. But I have to say, it has to go down as another good opportunity.
Yeah, it does. 1-0 here if you've just joined us. Newcastle lead. Trippier back to Nick Pope, who not really had anything to do yet, Nick Pope. Newcastle will play out from the back. Dan Byrne has it. New deal for him with the club, keeping him here for another couple of seasons. And Byrne races forward but couldn't control it. It's out for a throw-in over on the far side. Ali McCoist on breakfast all next week. And Britain's favourite commentator will be on commentary as well for our exclusive Monday night game between Spurs and Fulham. Ali McCoist with Adrian Durham and Sam Matterface as Spurs look to maintain their healthy start to the Premier League season. There's the ball back with Palace on their side of halfway. Here's Mark Gurhey, played for England in the international break. Does well to get away from Callum Wilson. Gets it away now to the Corey. Ball hits the referee, so that will be a drop ball. And they will get the ball back here, Crystal Palace. More live commentaries to come midweek as well. You're going to need the TalkSport out. There's so much football at the moment. As Palace play the ball diagonally, trying to get in behind, but Ayew won't keep it in. It skips away, and it's out for a goal kick. Tuesday night, Sevilla Arsenal from the Champions League is live on TalkSport. TalkSport 2 exclusive, Leicester against Sunderland. Mickey will be listening to that one, I'm sure. And on Wednesday night, Young Boys take on Manchester City in the Champions League. That's on TalkSport. And on TalkSport 2, PSG take on Milan. At Newcastle fans will have an ear on that as well as their game here with Dortmund. There's the ball out on this near side. Palace have it. And the game's just settled down a little bit, hasn't it, after that opening 10 minutes where it was real helter-skelter stuff, Mickey. The game just slowed down a little bit now.
It certainly has. I think the players have realised that we're back playing Premier League football, and it was a little bit of a shock and a surprise to everybody, I suppose, how open the game was. But it's now starting, as you mentioned, Mark, just starting to settle down a little bit now. You can see Crystal Palace have certainly grown into the game. You can see they're trying to use that diagonal ball across to Ayew on the right-hand side as much as they possibly can, but it's difficult for them because Newcastle are getting themselves back into position and making it hard for them, which is why Pope's not really been tested so far in the game. But see the movement from these forward players from Newcastle. They just never stop, and I think the more the game goes on, you'll see the pace of Callum Wilson starting to grow into this game.
Ball now here with Hughes. Gets it away on the near side. Mitchell back to Hughes. Hughes tries to pull it back for Hudson-Edouard. Ball is cleared away. Here now, Doucouré back to Mitchell. Mitchell floats the ball far post. Byrne turned to head it away. Headed it back in towards the penalty area, but on the right-hand side. And Palace now have got a chance to recycle possession. Doucouré has it, but he's given it away to Anthony Gordon, who looked to go forward quickly, but there was nothing on, so he tries to interchange of passes. Newcastle win it back. And now they come forward with Trippier. Murphy peels off one way. Wilson stays centre of goal. Trippier gets it wide to Murphy. Murphy now, can he get the cross in? He'll slide it towards Longstaff. Pulls it back. Good interception from Anderson. About 10 yards out from the Palace goal, and Palace needed that. And now Palace are looking to break. Hudson-Edouard, he's got Mateta outside him. Can he use it? Edouard falls to ground. Referee's going to give a free kick there. And that looked harsh. I think it was Callum Wilson, was it? It was all the way. Lascelles who was back defending, and it's a free kick, Palace edge of the area.
It's one of those. I mean, it was great ability, wasn't it, from Hudson-Edouard, just to chop the ball to the left-hand side of Jamal Lascelles there. Couldn't really do anything about from getting his body out the way. It was just a clip of the ankles. And it's quite pleasing to see, isn't it, that the referee, Tim Robinson's not went straight to his pocket to give Lascelles a bit of a yellow card, because it was a nice break that for Crystal Palace. But Lascelles just couldn't get out of the way. There was no malice in it whatsoever, but see Palace now picking the ball up, trying to catch Newcastle on the counter.
Yeah, plenty of goals to update you off in the Premier League and in the Football League. I can tell you Rangers are a goal up against Hibernian as the ball played out wide on the Palace right-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. They're going to get the ball back here. They're going to work it back to centre field. Mark Gurhey gets it now. He gets it away. Doucouré will try and slide it to Hudson-Edouard, who was looking for Will Hughes to make a run, and he didn't, and it'll go all the way through to Nick Pope. I can tell you Manchester City have doubled their lead. Erling Haaland with the second goal there. It's Manchester City 2, Brighton 0. Elsewhere, Swansea in front against Leicester. Matt Grimes with a goal there, and Hull are behind at home to Southampton. Will Smallbone with a goal for Saints in that one. Here it's still a goal to nil. There's been another Premier League goal as well. Johan Visser has scored for Brentford. Brentford 1, Burnley 0. As Newcastle with Guimaraes come forward, and he's closed down on halfway and goes back to Lascelles. Newcastle leading. Jacob Murphy goal to nil. I'm sure he'll tell us he meant the shot, but it looked like a cross that looped over the keeper. But it doesn't matter, it went in the back of the net. Here now is Longstaff. Longstaff is brought down by Hughes. That will be a free kick. And it's taken quickly, and it falls here for Murphy, who's going to unleash his shot that dips just in front of the keeper, and Johnson was right behind it, but had to beat it away for a throw-in on the near side.
Clever play there from Longstaff. Just got himself off the ground, just played a quick little pass into Murphy. Nearly didn't come off for him, but the space that Murphy had to get his strike away, and he got a lot of pace behind it. Sam Johnson had to be on his toes and made a super save.
Yeah, he did indeed. Ball on halfway with Jamal Lascelles. We're 25 minutes into this one. Goal to nil. Newcastle lead. And now they're looking with Trippier. Gets the ball away. Guimaraes has it. For those tuning in, Sandro Tonali is on the bench for Newcastle today. All the conjecture whether he would be involved or not. Well, he's on the bench. Dan Burn gets the ball far side. Lets it run for Gordon, who's on halfway. Trippier again has made a run down this near side. He'll instead go short to Lascelles. Guimaraes looks up. He'll see Trippier glued to the touchline. He gets it now. Murphy goes one way. Longstaff the other. He'll go to Murphy, who now just keeps the ball alive. Palace are just sat really deep at the moment, letting Newcastle have the ball until they get into the final third. Here now is Longstaff. Gets it away to Trippier. Trippier now gets the ball back to Longstaff. Here's Murphy. Murphy's going to slide it. Longstaff's worked his way into the byline. Puts it across goal. Could have been a chance. There was a slip from Anderson inside the 6-yard box, and Callum Wilson couldn't get on the final touch. That should have been 2-0, Mickey Gray.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a great move again from Newcastle. Patient with the football, but they're just zipping it across from left to right-hand side. Super little run from Longstaff. Unmarked. Puts a great ball into the box. And I think it's a Callum Wilson who's just waiting just to tap it in the back of the net. It's last-ditch challenges from Palace defenders at the moment.
Here's Joe Linton. I thought he'd done well to keep it in. He couldn't, and it goes behind for a goal kick. But they've had a couple of really good chances, Newcastle. Ball's in. It was almost deliberately, but it was clearly a planned move, Mickey, down this right-hand side. Longstaff gets in behind, and really Newcastle should have got a second goal.
Well, I mean, it is, isn't it? This right-hand side is a problem for Crystal Palace, with the runs from Murphy, Longstaff running in behind. Kieran Trippier is not frightened to play those through balls into the 18-yard box, and they're finding so much space. And you can see in front of us now, Mark, Ray Lewington and Roy Hodgson, they're changing a few things around because there's so much space for these Newcastle players, certainly in that midfield area, which is why they're starting to stamp their authority a little bit more on the game.
1-0 here, as that applause you'll hear in the background is for Sandro Tonali, who's warming up away to our right-hand side. He's getting a standing ovation down at the far end of the ground here. Well, it's been a tough week for the young man, and he's clearly got his issues, but Newcastle seem determined as a club to put an arm around him, and they'll deal with what they need to deal with in due course. You are listening to Newcastle against Crystal Palace on TalkSport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea versus Arsenal and Sheffield United versus Manchester United live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports for more details. That looked like a nasty foul there, didn't it? Just a clip of the heels from Mateta, but Newcastle player down and getting treatment.
Yeah, it's Guimaraes who's on the ground there. Just tried to play the ball over to his left-hand side, and his ankles got taken away from him from Mateta there. Again, it's one of those ones, Mark, where I don't think there's any malice in it. It's just you're trying to get in front of your marker, and that's exactly what Mateta's done there. The referee's just having a little quiet word with him. Actually, he's given a yellow card. I'm not too sure about that, I have to be honest with you. From what I've seen so far in the game, some of the challenges, really good challenges in the game, I think that's a little bit harsh for Mateta, I've got to be honest with you, and I don't think Guimaraes helped him a lot there. He was rolling around on the ground. Within the space of 6 or 7 seconds, he's back up on his feet and he's completely fine.
So 28 gone here. 1-0 Newcastle lead. There's been chances at both ends. It's not been all one way, but certainly Newcastle have looked the more likely. There's a ball now on halfway, and it's blue skies overhead here, and Newcastle looking good at the moment. As Longstaff falls to the ground, but gets the ball away here. Murphy's going to pick it up, down by the byline, right-hand side. He's got Trippier with him if he needs him. He might now use him. No, he's gone past his man. He's into the area. He puts a cross, it's tipped away and bullied onto the post by Gordon. 6 yards out unmarked. He has to score.
I mean, how has that not found its way into the back of the net? I mean, certainly the momentum's with Newcastle right now. Brilliant move again. Great play from Murphy down the right-hand side. Thought the simple pass was to Trippier, but super footwork, and what a ball he put into the box for that chance for Gordon.
Here now the ball. They're trying to get Longstaff in again. It's cleared away. Lerma has it to Hughes. Palace are living dangerously here. A goal behind, but their goal has been tested, but Mateta's just won a free kick. Him and Lascelles are having a good old tangle. And the referee decides that is a free kick for the visitors here.
The only way I could see that Anthony Gordon's missed that opportunity there, Mark, is the ball's come to him a little bit too quick. because he didn't get himself set. Let's be honest with you, a little slight deflection as the ball come into the box, but when it fell to Anthony Gordon, he's got the whole goal to aim for, and he kind of thrashes a little bit at his strike, which then comes off the crossbar, but has to go down as a massive miss for Newcastle.
Ball flicked on by Mateta, but no one the other side of him, so they'll run through to Nick Pope in his luminous green goalkeeping strip. And it is back with Newcastle. We'll get you some latest odds with William Hill shortly once we battle with the Wi-Fi here. There's a ball now played forward looking for Gordon, who's up in and trying to head the ball into Wilson, but a calm header from Gurhey, and it's back to the goalkeeper. Nice try, but didn't quite pay off for Newcastle on that occasion.
Yeah, good, very good defending there from Gurhey. Just that little change in system, Mark, from what I've seen so far is you can see Cheikh Doucouré is now just sitting in front of the back four. It's kind of a 4-1-4-1 for Crystal Palace, because I think Newcastle were just overrunning Crystal Palace in that midfield area, so I think Roy's hoping that's going to help them out and just give them that extra little body when Newcastle do attack.
Leading by a 1-0. Burton 1, Bristol Rovers 1, latest score, and Leyton Orient lead Barnsley by a 0-0. Longstaff went to ground pretty tamely there. He looks up saying, why haven't I got a free kick for that? Well, it's a throw in. Liam Delap's equalised. Hull 1, Southampton 1. Here 1-0 to Newcastle. That early goal from Jacob Murphy, despite being initially ruled offside, VAR confirmed onside. And I think when it comes to VAR interventions, that was one of the clearest onside ones we'll get. He was way onside.
Yeah, it certainly was, Martin's obviously seeing the replay as well. I think it's Simon Hooper who's in the VAR hub today. It was early on in the game, so I'm pleased he was watching it with his hawk eyes, and he's got that one absolutely spot on.
Yeah, it is 1-0. We got the right outcome in the end. Newcastle fans will be happy with that. Big week for Newcastle. Borussia Dortmund here in midweek as the Newcastle Champions League adventure continues, but today all thoughts on getting back involved in that race at the top. Had a bit of a slow start to the season, but picking up nicely Newcastle as Trippier gets it back to Longstaff via the nutmeg on Odsonne Edouard, but the ball forward is intercepted. Mitchell wanted to go back to his goalkeeper there, but didn't, and he gets a little bit fortunate. His clearance bounced kindly to Gurhey. Here's Doucouré in the middle of his own half, plays it forward, but nobody there, and Newcastle are putting the squeeze on here. All they're missing at the moment is a second goal, and they've had some great chances. And
they're certainly coming closer, aren't they? Crystal Palace have been a little bit scrappy the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Here's Gordon, 25 yards out. He was encouraged to shoot. Instead he goes to Murphy, who's got Trippier on the overlap. Ball played to Trippier, who's just behind him. Tries to whip it in deep, cross far post, and the header just wide. Wilson it was, who just couldn't turn it goal bound. But that's 3 or 4 crosses now from the right that Johnson has struggled to get to. They've gone over his head to the back post, but Newcastle just cannot put the ball in the net.
And I still think Crystal Palace still look a little bit shaky for me, Matt. I don't think they've settled at all as a back four. You can see Anderson and Gahey are kind of all over the place, not working in tandem. And even the fullbacks, Tyreek Mitchell, he loves getting over the halfway line. It's a problem for him because he's been pushed so far back. And then you've got Joel Ward back in the starting 11 today as well. He's not really been involved in the game, but everything great from Newcastle is coming down this right-hand side with the players I keep mentioning, Trippier, Murphy and Longstaff as well, and they're causing such a threat. And some of these balls into the... I mean, they're great opportunities for Newcastle.
They are indeed. Ball on the ground here. Lerma's got a free kick.
Just a little bit of a shove there, Mark, wasn't it, from Lerma on Jacob Murphy as he was picking the ball up, just to try and shield it away from Palace. Start a quick free kick there, and I don't actually know why he's having a word with Jacob Murphy. Didn't really do anything wrong. If anything, it was Jefferson Lerma. Shouldn't really be shoving players to the ground like that to get the ball.
No. I can tell you then, it's currently Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 0 for the latest odds. Head to William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Newcastle to win at 1-6, Palace to win at 16-1. The draw is 5-1. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season long with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly. Ball played for by Newcastle. That's a great first touch. Ball over the top, trying to get Wilson in behind, but Anderson is there. That's not the first time we've said that today. Joachim Andersen's come up with some big stops, and that was another one there for Palace. There's a nice little 1-2 far side of the field. Joe Linton went forward, just miscontrolled it. Will Hughes gets it, and now he gets it down for Palace, who are looking to break here, but there's no real outlet for them at the moment. It's a little bit slow from Roy Hodgson's side. Roy's looking on pitch side, as is Eddie Howe. Quite a nice mild afternoon up here in the northeast. Mateta went too early, so he's got to let it run through to Nick Pope, and Pope will play out from the back, and Newcastle get it back here. 10 to go to the break. Newcastle lead by a 1-0.
Well, certainly Roy Hodgson must be thinking now, how can I get my two wide players involved in the game a little bit more? In Ayew and Edouard, who we know are wonderful players, they've got exceptional talent, but when you can't keep hold of the ball and you're really finding it difficult to get yourself even over the halfway line, then the problem is those midfield players start dropping and helping out defensively, and then they've got no energy in the final third, and it's something they need to work on, and hopefully for their sake before half-time.
Guimaraes, who was on duty for Brazil, plays a nice ball for Murphy. Murphy, can he put the cross in? He does. It's blocked by Mitchell, and it's behind for a corner kick. It was a lovely pass, that, and the spin of the ball just eased it into the path of Murphy, and it is a corner for Newcastle. Further goals to tell you about. Oxford lead Blackpool by a 0-0. Greg Lee with a goal there, and Accrington Stanley lead MK Dons by a 0-0. MK Dons continue to struggle in that one. Can Newcastle get a second goal here? Front of the Gallagher end. Trippier to take it. Everybody back for Palace. There are 3 Palace shirts in the 6-yard box. Now the black and white shirts arrive as well. Ball right to the far post, headed towards goal, and it's come off Johnson there. Got a touch in the 6-yard box, and Johnson had to put it behind for another corner.
Yeah, Guimaraes, I think, with the final touch there, just egging on the Newcastle supporters there in the Gallagher end as well. The first phase, they're winning it too many times, Mark, when Newcastle put the ball into the box. They're a big, strong, physical side now. When you think of Dan Burn, 6-foot odds, Lascelles exactly the same as well, but it's the movement after that from Guimaraes, even Anthony Gordon. They're getting too many second touches of the ball.
Here's Trippier, works in a short corner, and it went all the way through. And Johnson looked around there. He says he had that covered, Mickey Gray. I don't believe him for a second. If that's on target, it's in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get told that as a wide player or a full-back, if you're whipping that ball in towards the back stick, make sure it's going to creep in at the back post. Well, that one must have been inches away. Over on that left-hand side, whipped in from Trippier with his right foot. And they're living on a knife edge at the moment, Crystal Palace, aren't they? It should be more than one goal. The chances that Newcastle have created, I thought this would be a lot more of a tighter encounter and more difficult for Newcastle, but at the moment they're just splitting through this Crystal Palace back line.
Still only 1-0. I think that's what Roy Hodgson will be telling his side, as Longstaff's taking a bang on the side of the head. He's just going to be spoken to by the referee to check he's okay. Elsewhere, Peterborough 0, Wycombe 1. Brendan Hanlon with a goal that puts Wycombe in front at Peterborough. Halifax 1, Kidderminster 1. Amari Morgan-Smith for the Harriers, after Halifax led early on there. Here 1-0, out for a throw-in. Longstaff, who is okay, quickly on the scene to knock it out for a throw-in. Remember, earlier on here on TalkSport 2, it was a draw in the Championship. Preston against Millwall ended 1-1. Preston in front early on, but Millwall hitting back with a Zian Fleming screamer. 1-1 it ended, and it ended in the Premier League. Joy for the red half of Merseyside, as 2 late Mo Salah goals after an early sending off for Ashley Young ended Liverpool 2, Everton 0. And I'm just saying, Sean Langstoff's been booked there. It's interesting. I was looking at the stats, Tim Robinson. He doesn't do too many Premier League games. He does a lot in the Championship. He does like a yellow card, and that's the second one. And I don't think we've seen a bad tackle going yet, have we?
No, it's more petulance than anything, Mark. It's a silly yellow card to be given away. You see Sean Longstaff. It's that ball again, isn't it? Trying to keep it away from the opposition. It's gone out for a throw-in, but the little shove afterwards, that was what got him in the book.
Here's Murphy trying to get in behind after Joe Linton plays the ball over the top. He's done well to keep it in, but he's outnumbered by blue and red shirts, and Jefferson Lerma will get there. Lerma gets it back to Gurhey, who's under pressure. He finds lovely little touch from Bakure, and the ball goes out of play, and Palace do win a throw-in, but that was a nice touch there on the edge of the box.
Yeah, little flicks and tricks yet again. I have to say, I think Jacob Murphy coming back into the starting 11 as well, Mark, for Newcastle. I think he's been absolutely outstanding. His energy levels and he's running off the ball have been why Newcastle find themselves in front in this first half of this game.
Yeah, Ball here with Bruno Guimaraes. He gets the ball, but Hughes picks it up. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0 is the latest score. Brentford 1, Burnley 0. Manchester City 2, Brighton 0. And it's goalless between Nottingham Forest and Luton. So as it stands, all the home sides barring Nottingham Forest are winning. Later on in the Premier League, Chelsea, Arsenal, and live and exclusive on TalkSport tonight, Sheffield United, Manchester United, 8 o'clock start for that one. You'll hear that one here on the TalkSport network. If you've got the TalkSport app, then it's free and easy to use. You can swipe between the two stations. What are you seeing, Mickey?
Yeah, just picking up, Mark, and I just touched on it, about the two wide players from Crystal Palace. Because they happen to go so deep to pick up the ball, they've got to work the magic, and you can see Ayew now, he's getting frustrated trying to get involved in the game a little bit more, and I think Crystal Palace in this first half have missed a little bit of a trick, because if they can keep those two wide players hitting the bylines, it makes the pitch wider and bigger for them, and it'll give them that better chance of maybe causing Newcastle more problems, because first half, you have to say, it's been very easy for the home side.
A spoon pass, just looped up in the air there by Guimaraes, and it could lead to a corner here. No, it's just going to be a throw-in for Newcastle. Can't tell you, Notts County in front of Gillingham. Macaulay Langstaff with a goal there. Gillingham 0, Notts County 1. Here it's 1-0 Newcastle. Into the last 4 minutes of the first half, that Newcastle started with a goal inside 6 minutes. Jacob Murphy with the finish. A poked effort. I'm sure it was a cross, but it went in, and that's what he'll be claiming. Ball here to Trippier, finding room again, finds Murphy, who finds Guimaraes, who whips the ball in looking for Wilson, but again Anderson was there. Ball won back, edge of the area. Longstaff had too much time, gets it to Murphy. Murphy thought about putting the ball in earlier, lay it back now to Trippier, who finds Lascelles, who finds Shaw. We know he can hit them from this kind of range. He floats the ball in, he's fine. Longstaff in on goal and missed his kick. It just bounced up a little bit awkwardly. It was a great pass from Fabian Shaw, everyone expecting the shot, and he just chipped it beautifully into the path of the midfielder, but he couldn't get on the end of it there, Longstaff.
Well, he just looked up to the sky because he knows how big of an opportunity that was for Sean Longstaff. Brilliant play again from Shaw, who's played some outstanding diagonal passes in his first 45 minutes, but this time it's a lovely little dink through in between centre half and full back, and as Longstaff there just runs onto it, you can see he's trying to volley it into the ground. He's just basically mistimed it, but again, super opportunity for Newcastle to double their lead.
1-0 it remains. 42 gone here on Tyneside. Mateta wins a header, but Byrne will just ease it back to Nick Pope, and Pope will be glad of a touch. Just gets the ball and gets it away to Lascelles, who finds Trippier on this near side. Looks for the crossfield switch, finds Byrne. Who's going to close him down, so Byrne's got to head it back. Because it's a header, keeper can come out. Nick Pope almost overran it there. Well, for a horrible second, he was going to let that go past him, but he picks it up about a yard out from his own goal.
Might just be a little bit bored in this first half, Mark. And we touched on Sam Johnson trying to impress Gareth Southgate, certainly in the last international call as well. And Nick Pope will be hoping to do exactly the same.
Here's Murphy, he's got Trippier outside him. Is he going to use him? No, he floats the ball, far post, they're arriving, and this time Newcastle do score. Gordon tucks it in inside the 6-yard box. The second goal that's been coming for a long, long time. Gordon has it. Newcastle lead Palace by 2-0.
Well, you can't say it hasn't been coming, and when it has come, it's an outstanding goal. And we said about this right-hand side for Newcastle, and yet again finding so much space just to run towards the 18-yard box. But what you need is willing runners. Your wide player, Anthony Gordon, getting himself into the box alongside Callum Wilson, who was stretching to try and put that ball in the back of the net himself. But Gordon kept his eyes on the ball with his left foot. He just parried that one and volleyed it down low into the ground, into the back of the net. And all that Newcastle deserve in this first half to get that second and all-important goal.
That changes the dynamics now, this one. Palace can no longer sit in hoping to hit one on the break. They've been undone 3, 4, maybe 5 times. Balls into the far post, chances gone begging. We've seen Gordon hit the post, but that was an emphatic finish from close in. And Newcastle, good value for this 2-0 lead here on TalkSport 2. Can't tell you, Huddersfield have conceded. Huddersfield 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Jake Clark-Salter giving the Hoops hope there. Norwich 2, Leeds 0. Gabriel Sara with the second goal. Daniel Farke's returned to Norwich at the moment. not looking to be a positive one, and Peterborough have equalised against Wickham 1-1 in that game. As the ball played out on this near side, here now is Longstaff, finds Murphy. Murphy gets the ball away. We've got 5 added on minutes here at the end of the first half. Ball played forward by Palace. Edouard tried to dummy it, but Guimaraes will pick it up. Now he plays it forward looking for Gordon. Gordon put the fullback under pressure. Warden, he's giving it straight to Joe Linton, and he drives forward now, edge of the area. Almost went without it. Gordon will win it back. It's cleared away. And Palace, for a team that hadn't conceded in 3 Premier League goals, looks so iffy at the back. But here now is Ayew driving forward. This is a good run, 3-on-3, but his ball to Mateta's too deep, and Nick Pope just casually walks out and collects it. Still 2-0.
Yeah, well, again, you know, the game over the last couple of minutes has started to open up again. Super football from Newcastle. Crystal Palace trying to catch them on the break, but it's just the quality's not there, Mark, is it, in that final third? Ayew, I mean, there's no pressure on him whatsoever. He does really well. Breaks from his own half into the opposition's half, but that final pass into Mateta, I mean, there's too much pace on it. He's got no chance of getting on the end of it, and the quality's got to improve. And I think that's what will frustrate Roy more than anything in the first 45 minutes, other than probably the 2 goals that they have conceded.
2-0 here, and Newcastle have got time for a third. Ball over the top. Wilson rather ran into Gurley, who did well, but then he's dispossessed. Langstaff's on goal for 3-0. Newcastle, a third goal for them. Gurley with the error, and Longstaff is there to side-foot it past Johnston. Well, Palace made the decision to make Newcastle attack the Gallagher end in the first half, and it's a decision that has backfired emphatically. Murphy, Gordon, and now Longstaff with the goals. It's Newcastle 3, Palace 0.
Well, didn't we touch on these games being really tight encounters over the last 5 or 6 seasons, and maybe even longer than that? Well, this one is not. How can you make mistakes like that? Mark Gay's got no pressure on him whatsoever. Tries to chest the ball down just on the edge of his 18-yard box, and if you're a centre-half, you're the last man. You get that wrong, you know that Newcastle are going to pounce on it. And full credit to Sean Longstaff. 1 touch out of his feet, gets himself into the 18-yard box, one-on-one with Sam Johnson. What an outstanding finish from the midfield player. What a first half for Newcastle United.
Yeah, and now it's a question of how many, isn't it? It is a question of how many. He's finished that beautifully. Didn't panic, did he? In on goal, picked his spot, and side foots it in the far corner. And it's 3-0, and Crystal Palace, well, they're right up against it now. And you just wonder what Roy Hodgson will do from this point on. They're coming forward here, Palace.
Brilliant.
We're in a 5 added on minutes, but who's back there? Gordon. He's then tipped up by Ayew, and that will be a free kick. And that's the attitude you want, Mickey. 3-0 up. He's just got a goal, Gordon. He's not resting on his laurels. He's back defending, helping his team out.
Absolutely, and that's the attitude that's expected from Eddie Howe's men. If you don't work hard, you're not in the starting 11. Anthony Gordon, absolutely fantastic defensively. We could talk as much as you like about how good Newcastle have been in those forward positions, but you've got to work hard when you haven't got the ball. Helping out his full-back, Dan Byrne, and just slid in. Actually won his side a foul as well. Well, they've been fantastic in this first half, Newcastle. Up a few weeks ago, they put 8 past Sheffield United away. And I'm worried for Roy Hodgson's team in this second half. I know it's only 3 at the moment, but the chances that the home side are creating, if they're a little bit more clinical and they want to keep going in the second 45 minutes, perfect medicine for Wednesday night.
It is. Well, going forward, Joe Linton just beaten to it. Well, you say it's 3, Mickey. I think in fairness, if it had been 4 or 5, you couldn't really have argued against it, could you?
Well, Callum Wilson's missed a header at the back stick. I think the other one was Dan Byrne. They've hit the crossbar as well. I don't think I've seen Crystal Palace play as poorly as this all season. They looked nervy when they came out the tunnel. They looked nervy in the first 2 or 3 minutes, and it's not changed, which is why already in the first half he's changed the system to that 4-1-4-1, but I just don't think that's working for them either.
Well, Edouard has just clattered into Trippier, and Trippier had something to say, and Edouard shoves him 2 hands in the chest. Frustration from Hudson Edouard, and he's still at it. Trippier, like a little Yorkshire Terrier there, was yapping away at him, looking to get a response, and Edouard still having to be pulled back here. Well, Trippier's going to get a yellow card. He ironically applauds the referee, and Hudson Edouard's going to get a yellow card. So 4 yellow cards in the first half here, and Trippier still in senses in the face of the referee, and Jamal Lascelles rather sensibly just pulls him out of the way.
Yeah, I'll go back to that word petulance again, which is all what it was. I think Kieran Trippier initially was just frustrated from the foul from Edouard, who just basically clattered through the back of him and stood up and then just put his chest into the back of Edouard there. But it was the reaction from Edouard shoving a player in the chest. In this day and age in football, Mark, you know exactly what's going to happen, and that's why both the players have found themselves in the book. And you have to be careful when they come out in the second half. One silly foul and that's it, you're walking down the tunnel.
Yeah, free kick then will be hammered forward towards Wilson. Keeper comes out, Johnson collects it, and Matt will do it as we're back underway in the second half. 52,189 here, Newcastle 3, Crystal Palace 0 is the half-time score. And here come Newcastle. Neat turn from Wilson, who has been bear-hugged there. Referee's going to blow it. That was a clear free kick, and it stopped an attacking opportunity there for Newcastle. Well, if there's any hesitation as to what they're going to do second half, they're going to commit bodies forward. Nick Pope, the goalkeeper. Trippier, Lascelles, Shah and Byrne, the back four, as now they're working in down that right-hand side. But Palace will eventually get the ball away. It's Longstaff, Guimaraes, Joe Linton in midfield with Murphy, Wilson and Gordon in the advanced positions. No changes for Palace at the break. Johnson, the keeper. It's Ward, Anderson, Gurley and Mitchell at the back. Decore, Hughes and Lerma across the middle, with Edouard, Mateta and Ayew up top. So Newcastle leading by 3-0. As the ball works its way down that Newcastle right-hand side. Newcastle going from right to left. They're defending the Gallagher end second half here. Ball played forward. Joe Linton was bundled into. That looked like a free kick. Referee says play on. Odsonne Edouard intercepts a pass meant for Dan Byrne. Byrne then gets a good tackle in on Edouard, but he did well to ride it there. And Palace have got it back, and they'll play it forward, but the ball is intercepted, and Newcastle have it back. Here now, over halfway they go. How many goals will they end up scoring here? You're live and exclusive at St James's Park in the Premier League. Mark Wilson and Mickey Gray here. Anthony Gordon, scorer of the second goal, has it. Looks for the give and go with Guimaraes. Gets it away. Tries to feed Wilson. He went one way. He'll still get the ball. Anderson went the wrong way as well. Ball crossed to the far post. Headed up in the air. Will it fall on the volley? Edge of the area. Guimaraes will get it. Can he get the ball away? He'll have to go back to halfway. But Newcastle already, Mickey Gray, in the opening 2 minutes second half are showing they are out for more goals.
Well, I think Roy Hodgson must be seething inside from what he's seeing from his players. They're not at the races, are they, Mark? And they're just switching off at times. It's too easy for Newcastle's wide players. Little give and goes round the corner. Players are not switched on from Crystal Palace, and they've got to do that. The only change I can see that Roy's made, Mark, in the second half is Edouard has come over to this right-hand side, hasn't he? And Ayew over to the left-hand side. But as I mentioned in the first 45 minutes, they've got to get them involved in this game a lot quicker than they did in the first 45 minutes, because they're just isolated. I mean, Matete's up there and he's doing it all on his own. It's too difficult for him.
Yeah, Palace are attacking down their left-hand side. Wonder if that Edouard moves to get him away from Kieran Trippier. Both got popped in the first half, and they're on the other side of the field now, so the ball will work its way out. Here's Joe Ward, one of 3 changes Roy Hodgson made for the trip here today. Anderson has it. But for a couple of interventions from him, the scoreline could have been worse. He's played it forward. Byrne will come across, just watches it out, and it rolls behind. Just a reminder of that breaking news. A terribly sad news in the world of football that reaches us this afternoon. That's Sir Bobby Charlton, World Cup winner and European Cup winner, has passed away at the age of 86. Reminder here, 6 o'clock on TalkSport 2. We've got a special show paying tribute to one of the greatest footballers we've ever seen. And over on TalkSport, the full-time phone-in, Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbourne-Lahore will be taking your calls if you want to share your memories of a great player and a great man, Sir Bobby Charlton, who passed away earlier today. Ball with Palace. They're enjoying a bit of possession, not going anywhere with it, and they've turned over that possession now, and now the ball goes to Wilson. Wilson does well to ride one challenge and 2, then he falls down. It's another foul. This time it's Lerma that's brought him down, and it's a free kick for Newcastle.
He's certainly been in the wars, hasn't he, Callum Wilson? Probably, I don't think he's had one of his best games. I think he's probably waiting for these centre-halves of Crystal Palace to tire a little bit, and then he'll start getting his opportunity to be still on the field later on in the game. But you're right, Mark. It's the midfield area for Crystal Palace where I think the turnover of the ball from them, giving the ball away, and Newcastle then getting themselves on the front foot. It's happened too many times, which is why they find themselves 3 goals down in this game.
Yeah, bad news for Sunderland fans.
Oh, dear.
Stoke 2, Sunderland 1. Luke McNally with a goal 2 minutes into the second half, and there's been a breakthrough as well at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 1, Luton 0. Chris Wood with a goal there. Chris Wood, who had a short spell here, didn't he, really, at Newcastle? As Newcastle attack breaks down, and now Will Hughes will advance over halfway, but it's 2 blue and red shirts and 4 or 5 black and white ones. Hughes is still going though, edge of the area, tries to feed it to Mateta, and it breaks down, and that sums it up really, didn't it? Even when Newcastle don't have the ball, Mickey, and Palace are trying to break, there's still more black and white shirts around the ball than red and blue ones.
Found himself in a great position, Will Hughes there. I just don't understand why he's not cocking his left foot and taking a strike on from 20 yards out. He waits to try and play the perfect pass into willing runners who are going in behind. But if you've got sight of that goal, get your laces through it and test Nick Pope, who really hasn't been tested all afternoon today. And then by the time comes for him to take the shot on, he's then got 4 or 5 Newcastle players around him.
Yeah, double hit of bad news for Bournemouth fans. Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1. Mateus Cunha has got the goal for Wolves, an equaliser there, but Lewis Cook's been sent off shortly afterwards, so Bournemouth down to 10 for the last 35 minutes or so in that one. 1-1 there, 3-0 here. Newcastle lead, and they're off on an amazing run here. And the player brought down with Shites, played into the edge of the area. It'll fall to Gordon. Gordon in on goal, forced wide, pulls it back here, trying to get it away to Wilson. Little step over edge of the area. He squares it back to Shah. Shah beaten to it and cleared away. And Byrne there got his long... How did he do that? He got his long leg round Mateta and hooked the ball away from him without touching him.
Yeah, it's great defending, isn't it? After a lovely move again from Newcastle, which again should have finished with a shot on target at least. Anthony Gordon's first touch into the 18-yard box just let him down a little bit, then he played the ball back to Callum Wilson. His first touch wasn't great, couldn't work it onto his right foot. Opportunity goes, but within the space of 2 or 3 seconds, winning the ball back. Super defending from Dan Byrne. Really touch tight with Mateta on that halfway line. And he got the better of it again.
Yeah. Ball played forward by Palace. The Doucouré's gone down. Palace is still playing on here. It's their player that's down injured. They have it wide on the right-hand side. Good tackle from Trippier. Ball now works its way back in field. And the ball is on halfway. Palace have it. They've managed 7 minutes second half without conceding. They conceded 2 in the last 6 minutes of the first half. They trail by 3-0. Eddie Howe barking out the instructions as Palace come forward down there, left-hand side, cut in, ball cleared away. Gordon picks it up, looked like it hit his hand there, edge of the area. He's outnumbered 4-1 and he still gets the ball away. And forward now goes Dan Byrne. Byrne looking to feed it into Wilson. Ball will work its way to Joe Linton, who is beaten to it, and Will Hughes gets it back. Hudson Edouard is unmarked here, edge of the area. They fit it to Edouard. He's in on goal, takes a shot, has a deflection, and it goes behind for a corner. Closest Palace have come for a long time.
Well, they look positive. Sorry, Mark, for jumping in there. They looked positive, didn't they, as they were breaking forward. There was numbers. Will Hughes involved again. Nice little ball out to Edouard. Again, first touch. Just needed to get it out of his feet a little bit better, but super defending from Fabian Schär there. He was the last defender, threw his body on the line. Then should have gone out for a corner, but that's what you want from your centre-halves. Throwing their bodies on the line and trying to keep all of this clean sheet that they have right now.
Yeah, that's what they'll want, as now they've got a corner to defend in front of the Gallowgate end. Can Palace start the comeback? Ball going to be swung in by Hughes towards the 6-yard box. Great header away from Lascelles. It'll fall here to Ward, who... Well, he hit it well, but the only problem was he was facing the wrong way when he hit it. It's got about 20 yards high and wide of the goal.
Yeah, it's not a position I think Joel Ward finds himself in too many occasions, isn't it? When that ball was coming through there, he never really felt confident for him. The full-back trying to keep that ball low as it was bouncing across his body. Never really got himself set, did he, to be honest with you? But last couple of minutes, better from Crystal Palace. They're starting to have a go at Newcastle now.
They are. Newcastle have just turned over possession away right on the edge of their area. Here's Hudson Edouard, lays it back. Mateta's offside. And that really criminally stood right in front of the assistant on this near side. And the flag goes up. And this time it is offside. And it will be a free kick for Newcastle.
Yeah, it's a centre forward finding himself out on the right wing and not really thinking about what line he needs to be in. What he just needed to stretch maybe to his left hand side just to keep his shoulder on side a little bit there, because again it was a good position from Newcastle giving the ball away. But if I'm Mateta, I'm thinking to myself, I don't really need to be here. I want to be in that 6-yard box, getting my head on the end of things and giving us a chance to get back into this game. And the quality of the wide players that Crystal Palace have got, and certainly from what I've seen so far this season, I need to see more from them.
Yeah, still 3 in arrears here. There's a ball coming forward. Newcastle have got a chance down the right. Ball comes into the 6-yard box. Gay clears it away. Should be picked up edge of the area by Newcastle. They're still committing plenty forward. Longstaff has it over on the far side. He'll lay it back. Cross is going to be whipped in. It deflects and goes behind for a corner. And Newcastle fans on their feet again as the hunt for more goals continues.
It's that right-hand side again, isn't it, with Kieran Trippier. I mean, we've talked over the last 6 months, Mark, about inverted fullbacks. Well, he doesn't really play that system, Kieran Trippier. He keeps to the byline, but his quality when he gets out on that right-hand side is absolutely on the money.
Can't tell you, Blackburn have gone in front against Cardiff. 1-0 they lead there. Rankin Costello with a goal. Here's a corner for Newcastle on TalkSport 2. Oh, it was a poor pass back there from Trippier. Sold out. Gordon, he rifled it at him, but behind him. Gordon's done well to get it back. Here's Trippier, not closed down on the right. Had a chance to put the cross in. He'll lay it off now for Murphy. Murphy floats the ball back post, and there's a push, and it's a push against Newcastle, and it's a free kick. Here we've had 55, nearly 56 minutes on the clock. Live on TalkSport 2. It's Newcastle 3, Crystal Palace 0.
A little bit of a let-off there for Crystal Palace. Joe Linton with a cheap foul, I would call it, on Gay. Just a little shove in his back. Rightly given as a free kick, but it was a good opportunity again for Newcastle, who overloaded the back stick. Really good ball into the box as well.
Yeah, Palace have it on halfway. They'll look to get the ball out on this near side. Ward, that pass did hit Gordon's hand. The referee says play on as it fell to a Palace shirt. Roy Hodgson in talks momentarily with his backroom staff. Eddie Howe looks on. Here now is Ayew. He picks the ball up centre of the field, looking to attack the Gallagher end. Just pauses, then comes out right. Nice pass to Ward. Ward takes it down on his thigh. Can he whip a ball in? Well, he's gone past Gordon onto his left foot. Does put a good ball into the far post. Arriving late. They pull the ball back, and Edouard's shot is deflected behind for a corner for Palace.
Well, it's full-back to full-back, which we certainly didn't see from Crystal Palace in the first half. I think they're going to make a couple of changes themselves as well to try and get back into this game. But as that ball was pulled back there from Mitchell, he was caught a little bit flat-footed there, Edouard, wasn't he? As if he wasn't expecting the ball to come back to him, but got to be on the move. Certainly with his back line in Newcastle, who are on their toes, try to clear their lines as much as they possibly can. Has to go down as a half chance.
Well, something's happened over in the corner there. Will Hughes. Well, the crowd is saying it wasn't in the quadrant, the ball. The referees had to go all the way over, and Will Hughes has said, well, I told you it was in. And now it'll be a corner, and Tim Robinson comes back to the middle. Corner whipped in from the Palace left, headed away at the near post. Gordon will try and bring it down. If you detect that in his instep, the break could have been on. The break could still be on. What a pass now. Murphy across the field. He's racing in down the right-hand side. Wilson and Gordon wait in the middle. Cross call, and somehow Ward does well to turn it. Not into his own net, but behind for a corner. Great defending from Ward.
And what a pass from Dan Burn. Just to see it, he had to play it through a lot of bodies there from left back over to the right-hand side, along the ground, into the path of Jacob Murphy. Done everything right, kept it low, fired it across that 6-yard box. Brilliant defending, I have to say, eventually, from Joel Ward, because Anthony Gordon was just stood at the back stick, ready for another little tap-in, but excellent play from back to front from Newcastle.
Corner Newcastle, leading by 3-0. Ball played short here, and it's going to be whipped in towards the far post, headed back across goal and headed off the line by Crystal Palace, who will now try and break themselves. But again, Newcastle hassling and harrying, and in the end, Lascelles gives away a free kick, but that's not one Newcastle will be too worried about.
You know, Mark, for somebody who I know who works tirelessly on set pieces for and against, for somebody like Dan Burn to pick up so much space in the penalty area from across into the box is beyond me from Roy Hodgson's side in Crystal Palace. It cannot happen, and then they're clearing the ball off the line. You can see now Newcastle have now got the momentum back that they've been looking for.
Well, Palace could be in down there, left-hand side. Heavy touch though there from Mitchell, and he's caught Trippier, the referee's given a free kick here, but that looked a little bit naughty from Tyreek Mitchell. I think he's going to get a yellow card, and may well be happy that it is only a yellow card.
Yeah, just left his foot in there, didn't he? Kieran Trippier read the situation. Bad first touch from Mitchell. Tried to reach out with his left foot there just to sort his problems out, but studs are up. Kieran Trippier rolled around a couple of times. He's back on his feet, and I think that's pretty much done Mitchell a bit of a favour there. He has got a yellow card. What a nasty little foul.
It could have been. If you've just joined us here on TalkSport 2 this afternoon, the terribly sad news breaking a few moments ago regarding the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton, who's passed away earlier on today at the age of 86.
Substitution number 4.
We're going to see a substitution here. Jean-Philippe Mateta is coming off, and replacing him Jesram Raksaki, who we know is an attacking player. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do with this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they need something in those forward areas, don't they? It's not really worked for Mateta. I don't think it's all his problems, because I just don't think he got the service today, to be totally honest with you. But Raksaki now is probably, well, it looks like he's gone into a midfield area, and Edouard's gone in as a centre forward, so a little bit of a change for Crystal Palace. Let's see what energy can bring to this right hand side, Raksaki.
Yeah, Palace seen a little bit more of the ball. Newcastle happy to try and hit on the break, but when they do break, they're committing bodies forward. Here, Newcastle 3, Crystal Palace 0. Don't forget, following that news regarding the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton over on TalkSport, the full-time phone-in with Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Bonlahor from 5:30. You can ring in to pay your tribute. As the ball played forward, Nick Pope comes racing out. Pope got just enough of it. He almost ran underneath it. Got a header on it. The volley comes in from distance for Lerma. Well, it's a short goal. Nick Pope collects it, and he will ball it out. So the full-time phone-in at 5:30. You can pay your tribute to one of the greatest footballers, certainly, that this country has ever seen. Sad news of his passing today. So Bobby Charlton at the age of 86. That's TalkSport 5:30 with Jamie and Gabby. Here on TalkSport 2 from 6, we've got a special show to pay tribute to a wonderful career and a wonderful life of Sir Bobby Charlton. Ball played forward then. Newcastle have it on halfway. You get the feeling there will be more goals here. Both sides are certainly trying, and Roy Hodgson has made a change. It must be difficult for him. Obviously, he's missing two of his star attacking players in the likes of Eze and Elise. They're doing it tough at the minute, Palace. And you're just worried once they conceded so early that they may be in for a tough afternoon here. 3-0 it is. Goals from Murphy, Gordon and Longstaff for Newcastle. Don't forget, coming up tonight over on TalkSport, Sheffield United, Manchester United live and exclusive in the Premier League. Faker Others, Ian Danter and the former Leeds striker Lucy Ward, and that'll be an emotion-charged night, you would imagine, at Bramall Lane following that breaking news this afternoon. Palace have it on halfway. It's a nightmare, isn't it, for Palace? 3-0 down at half-time. Do you stick or do you twist? They're trying, aren't they? But they know if they overcommit, they're going to get hit on the break.
Completely right. And this is why Newcastle can now sit back and dictate this game as whichever way they want, to be honest with you. If they want to go through the gears, they've got the energy levels and the quality to do so. And you're right, Mark. All the hard work was done from Newcastle in that first half. They got the ball in the back of the net 3 times. They could dictate the football. Eddie Howe can make those changes if he feels like he needs to do so, and Roy Hodgson's got to try and stay to a set system, if you like, because when he starts taking risks, that's when Newcastle will just pounce on them and add to the 3 goals that they already have.
Yeah, Eddie Howe, no sign yet of a change. Sandro Tonali's warming up away to our left. Will they give him a run out here, or will they save him for midweek and Borussia Dortmund? There's a ball on halfway. Palace have it again. Newcastle again happy just to sit in here. Their good run of form continues, and their side very much on the improve and closing in on those above them in the table. As the ball all the way back to Johnston. Can't tell you, Leeds have got a goal back at Norwich. Shane Duffy scored an own goal. Norwich 2, Leeds 1. Bolton 2, Northampton 1. Sam Hoskins with the goal there. Elsewhere, Colchester 1, Harrogate 1. And it's Peterborough 2, Wickham 2. From Mason Clark with the second goal for Peterborough there. So the ball inside the Newcastle half. Here now is Longstaff. Fired the pass at Murphy, who tried to deflect it back to him. But Mickey, that was a bit of an awkward one. Here goes Will Hughes. Ball just hit his hand. Play on though. Edouard dispossessed by Bruno Guimaraes, and he will now look to play his way out, the Brazilian. Played in the international break for Brazil, so you wouldn't be surprised if he was one that maybe was given a breather late on here by Eddie Howe.
Well, if he does get taken off, Mark, that composure that he seems to have on the ball, he never looks phased, does he? Whether he's got 4 or 5 players around him or whether he's got to try and pick somebody out, one of his teammates. Just very cool, calm, collected, even in his own 18-yard box there. A little drag back, a little pass to the right-hand side of him, wants the ball back again, always demanding of it, which is great for a centre midfield player.
It was a rare error there as Nick Pope played it out to Dan Byrne, who couldn't control it. Now Guimaraes is looking for the ball over the top. Anderson was back, did well to cover off Anthony Gordon, who then goes off hunting the ball. Don't forget on TalkSport right now, the goals as they go in, and lots of them going in as well. Brian Mbeumo has scored a second goal for Brentford, who lead 2-0 against Burnley. As Palace come forward now, edge of the area, looking to get it towards the far post here, and it could be a chance for Ratsaki. Cuts back onto his left foot, lays it back, shot comes in, it was low, it was going in near post, and Nick Pope might have been unsighted. But in fairness, the shot from Decore didn't quite have the power it needed to get past the Newcastle goalkeeper. And Newcastle now break down the other end. Early ball, what a ball for Wilson. He's in on goal for 4-0.
Oh, fantastic.
Counter-attacking goal in the blink of an eye. Newcastle go the length of the field. A wonderful ball in from the right-hand side. And Callum Wilson bangs in another one. 4 in 7 for him. Newcastle lead 4-0.
Well, it's just outstanding football from back to front. Crystal Palace have an opportunity to themselves. They switch off. Newcastle then play out from the right-hand side. And as he has done throughout the whole of the game, Jacob Murphy just running in behind his full-back. What a pass to him. And then what an outstanding pass to Callum Wilson. 2 touches after that. The ball is in the back of the net. I don't know if it's going to be his last touch of this game, actually, Mark, because Newcastle are going to make changes. But what an outstanding finish from Callum Wilson. Absolutely superb, and all that Newcastle deserve.
And the good news keeps coming for Palace, because Alexander Isak and Miguel Almiron are about to come on now. Well, these two met 3 times last year. We didn't have a goal in any of those. We've had 4 here. We could have had a lot more as well. But Wilson, cool as you like, rolls it in. Well, they aren't going to make the change before the restart. But Newcastle have got Isak, and now Livramento emerges from the dugout as well, so it's going to be a triple change. Speaking of change as well, Swansea were 1-0 up against Leicester. Leicester have turned it round. Abdul Fattah, who's got the second goal. Swansea 1, Leicester 2 in the Championship. But here it's Newcastle 4, Crystal Palace 0. Hudson Edouard has it. Gets the ball away. And now forward come Palace, but the ball to Edouard, too much on it. And they've not been great, Palace. Referee Eddie Howe says now let's make the changes. In fact, 4 of them. Sandro Tonali emerges from the dugout as well. So they're all there, lined up, ready to go. Almiron just gives a high five to Tonali. Livramento pats him on the back as well. They're going to get round about 22 minutes of this one. And here come the numbers. I always feel a bit sorry for the 4th official in this situation. He's got to work under intense pressure and get 4 numbers in double quick.
Yeah,
he starts looking at him saying, come on, put mine in first. I want to get on the field.
Yeah, it's one job he has to do today, Mark, hasn't he? But he's got to do it very quickly, hasn't he, these 4 changes. But I think, the first one is understandable. Kieran Trippier has been outstanding again to give Livramento an opportunity in that right-back position, come back from that terrible injury that he's had.
Yeah, Bruno Guimaraes, we thought he might make way. It's Tonali on for him. And now here's Sandro Tonali coming on here. Listen to that. As big as any of the cheers for the goals going in a week where he maybe needs an arm round his shoulder, Sandro Tonali. Newcastle are embracing him. He's onto the field, another cheer as he comes on. Anthony Gordon, goal scorer in the first half. Makes way for Miguel Almiron. High fives for Gordon, who scored one and hit the post as well. And the final change, Callum Wilson already applauding all four sides of this ground. He's got another goal. He said to Eddie Howe, I'll keep scoring if you keep picking me. And now Isak will replace him. What a duo this is. Like a tag team. If one of them doesn't get you, the other one will. Yeah. Isak's coming, smiles all around for both of them. That's great to see as well. So, look, they'll both want to start. They both want to play every minute, Mickey. But there's great camaraderie there. And there's going to be a change for Palace in response. And it's going to be Franke that comes on. Matheus Franke is coming on, and Will Hughes will make way.
Well, the perfect scenario for Eddie Howe to make those four changes, just to keep his squad and those players who've just left the field fresh for Wednesday night. And they've got 4 goals to boot. Highest scorers in the Premier League. Got themselves up. Looks like they're going to be in 5th position at the end of this game, Mark. Everything's rosy in a Newcastle shirt at the moment, isn't it? Everything seems to be going perfectly well for them. And you look at that squad, just look at them players who've come off the bench. Livramento, Tonali, Almiron, Isak. I think that just shows this squad is a really good squad for Newcastle now as well.
Here's Murphy on the left-hand side. He's skipping forward now. Joe Linton runs in behind him. Can he produce a cross? He does. It falls just behind Almiron. Almiron edge of the area, feeds it back to Byrne. Byrne just runs away to the touchline, tries to backheel it. Even that comes off for Newcastle. Tonali won't get a touch here. It falls to Fabian Schär. Just says, calm it, I'll have it. Let's get it back to Nick Pope and build again. 4-0. Newcastle lead in this one, and they get the feeling with 20 minutes left there could be more goals to come. Could be a long old day for Crystal Palace, and their fans who made the long trip here are up high away to our left. They've not had a lot to shout about. Now there's a problem here. Is that Longstaff that's just gone down? Not sure if he got caught or he went down off the ball. I didn't quite see that. I was following the ball, but he's down. He's up on his feet now. Hopefully he'll be okay. Charlton have got a 3rd goal against Reading. Alfie May, as they lead by 3-0. Let's just update you with some scores from the Premier League. Earlier on, Liverpool 2-0 winners over Everton in the Merseyside derby. You heard it live on TalkSport. Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1. Bournemouth down to 10, remember. Brentford lead Burnley by 2-0. Manchester City, 2 early goals from Alvarez and Haaland. They lead Brighton by 2-0. Forest 1, Luton 0. Chris Wood with a goal. Still to come at 5:30. Chelsea, Arsenal, updates of that on TalkSport. And live on TalkSport tonight, Sheffield United against Manchester United. In Scotland, Rangers lead Hibs by 3-0 and Kilmarnock lead Livingston by 3-1. In the Championship, ended earlier on TalkSport 2. Preston 1, Millwall 1. As now the ball played out wide on the Newcastle right. They're cutting in field now. A chance on the overlap there for Longstaff. Just has to check back in. In fact, no, it's the substitute who gets the ball back. Almiron fed back now. Lascelles is wandering forward. He's lost it, but there's always a Newcastle shirt there. How many have they got on the field, Mickey? Seems to be too many.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing with an extra player, doesn't it?
It does.
See the confidence running through the veins of the players, enjoying themselves now. Look, when you get 4 up, which doesn't happen very often, that's the time to enjoy your football. Making those substitutions as well, they're fresh. And you can only see this afternoon, feels like it's only going to get worse for Crystal Palace and not better.
Yeah, Blackburn 1, Cardiff 0, Bristol City 1, Coventry 0, Huddersfield 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Hull 1, Southampton 1, Borough 0, Birmingham 0, Norwich 2, Leeds 1, Stoke 2, Sunderland 1, Leicester 2 and up at Swansea, goalless Watford against Sheffield Wednesday, and it's goalless West Brom Plymouth in the Championship. So here we've got around about 17 minutes remaining here on TalkSport 2 as the ball feeds its way out over onto the far side. Get some latest odds with William Hill in a moment as the cross comes in from Mitchell. It's deflected behind. It's currently Newcastle 3, Crystal Palace 0. You're listening to this game live on TalkSport 2 with Now. Don't forget, with Now you can stream all Sky Sports action like Chelsea against Arsenal and Sheffield United against Manchester United live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports for more details. The ball in front of the Gallagher end. Can Palace pull one back here? It's going to be an in-swinging ball. Flicked on at the near post and headed away from the 6-yard box. Falls on the break. Decore's shot. Falls edge of the 6-yard area and the shot eventually comes in. And it's over the top, and that was a chance. Gurhey it was couldn't keep his shot down. He should have scored.
Yeah, big opportunity there for Mark Gahey. I think one thing that Roy Hodgson, or maybe the only thing now he's expecting from this game, is a reaction from his players, and who really wants to be out there, who's going to put the hard yards in until that final whistle blows. Well, Mark Gahey come up there for that cross. Not really the person he wanted to fall to in the 18-yard box, but he did very well, actually. Nice little touch out of his feet, but just leant back a little bit just as he was about to take the strike on.
Well, here's a break here for Newcastle. They could be in. Almiron trying to break through. Here's in on goal. He's been pulled back. The shot bounces off the keeper, and it's cleared away. He'll be disappointed he didn't score.
Oh, massive chance there for somebody who's just came on with fresh legs. Miguel Almiron, absolutely flying again this season. Works it onto his left foot, keeps it low. To say Sam Johnson stood tall until he had to go to ground and make that save, but another huge opportunity for Newcastle.
It was indeed. Right, we've got a stoppage in play here. Let's get the team news then from the 5:30 game. Big one as well. Chelsea take on Arsenal with the team news. Alex Crook.
And the big news for Arsenal is that Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli both come into the starting lineup. Eddie Nketiah and Leandro Trossard dropped to the bench. 2 changes for Chelsea as well. In come Malo Gusto back from suspension and Mikhailo Mudryk. It's Chelsea against Arsenal at Stamford Bridge.
Cheers, Alex. Updates over on the full-time phone-in over on Talk Sport. And don't forget, if you've missed the terribly sad breaking news in the world of football, the passing away of Sir Bobby Charlton at the age of 86 was announced earlier on this afternoon. Don't forget, on the full-time phone-in on Talk Sport, you can get your calls in and maybe relive a few memories of a great player and a great footballing man as well. So Bobby Charlton, who passed away earlier on today. Here on TalkSport 2, 6 o'clock, got a special show detailing the career and the life of Sir Bobby Charlton, who passed away earlier today. Newcastle have turned over the ball, and now it's coming forward here. Palace are going to have a shot from distance. It's a fizzing effort there. Well, was it worth the effort? It was a decent effort from Mateus Franca, but he just couldn't keep the shot down.
Yeah. Like to see that bit of positivity. Come off the substitutes bench, trying to make an impact for yourself there. Looks he's gone just in that number 10 slot, doesn't it? Mateus Franca there. He couldn't quite keep that shot down, but positive. A little bit of space for him. Worked it onto his right foot. Nice strike. Didn't really threaten Nick Pope again, though. No,
and here now is Almiron, who might just be ruining that missed opportunities. Might get another one here. Tries to feed the ball out wide. Mitchell was alert and cut out the danger edge of the area. 4-0. Newcastle lead here, and it has been a very, very good afternoon for Newcastle United. Here's Ratsaki down the right-hand side for Palace. The Corey gets it away. Now the ball out wide on the far side for Palace. Can they open up this Newcastle defence? Cross comes in for Ayew. Tries to take it down, and he did, but he couldn't quite get the shot away. That would have been a great effort had he got that away, but Newcastle defend it well, and Palace will look to attack again on the far side of the field, attacking the Gallagher end away to our right. We've had 77 minutes here on TalkSport 2. Newcastle 4, Crystal Palace 0. Saki trying to get round his man, but Dan Burn, well, it's a mismatch in height, and Burn clears the ball out for a throw-in.
I think anybody's a mismatch for Dan Burn in height-wise, Mark, aren't they? But
fair point.
He's... Look, I think since adapting to that left-back position, he's not really let anybody down, is he? And I think, they absolutely love him in that dressing room. I've seen the dance moves. I think it was at the end of last season, wasn't it, as well? So, yeah, he's a good character, isn't he? And, again, today, he's not let anybody down. You think about his performance, nice and solid defensively when he's had to clear his lines and clean things up. He's certainly done that. And excellent defending yet again.
Yeah, excellent defending indeed. Roy Hodgson looks on. A tough afternoon for Palace. And we'll get the ball away. Here's Ward on the near side. They're still looking for a consolation, but when you go back to that fourth goal, Mickey, it probably came from Palace's best effort. They had an effort on goal, and within, 10 seconds, they were 4-0 down.
They're just switching off, isn't it? And I think, they always say that, what if? When you give the ball away, get yourself back into positions, which Newcastle do as good as anybody I've actually seen in the Premier League, certainly this season. Crystal Palace, the complete opposite. Switched off, find themselves 4 goals down, and it was too easy, wasn't it? It's a training ground goal from back to front, pass out to the right-hand side, a lovely ball into the box, and what a super finish.
Well, they've got a big few games coming up. They've got Tottenham Hotspur at home next week, and then they've got a string of games against Burnley away, Everton at home and Luton away, where they'll want to pick up some points as they try and play Isak in Newcastle. There's a bit of a lunge there from Tonali, who I think might have just caught on the back of his knee, but he's up, hobbling back into position. Here now, Fabian Schär gets it away to Murphy. Murphy does well to ride a challenge, and then he's just caught by Doucouré, and that'll be a free kick.
Yeah, simple decision there for the referee, wasn't it? Jacob Murphy, as Newcastle make another substitution here as well, Mark. But I think the game's obviously dead and buried now, isn't it? It's about how much Newcastle want to enjoy it. Look as if they want to add to those 4 goals that they've got this afternoon. So I think it's back to the drawing board for Roy Hodgson in those games coming up, as you mentioned there before. Tottenham on Friday night next week, which is going to be an interesting one. London derby. But then the big games against Burnley and Everton and Luton after that, which are massive games where they've got to keep picking up points and get the momentum back if they can.
Yeah, Joe Linton makes way. Nice ovation for him. Elliot Anderson, the 5th change for Newcastle. And it is going to be Newcastle with a free kick. Schär has it on the edge of the centre circle. 10 minutes remaining here. Is there another goal in this one for Newcastle, who lead by 4? Ball played to Almiron, who gambled. The ball will break over on the far side. Livramento gets it and feeds it away, but Palace are trying to break on Newcastle here. Now they have it on halfway, but good strong challenge goes in there. Newcastle with Anderson win it straight back, and that's the type of work right there Eddie Howe will be looking at, isn't it, in this last 10 minutes? No switching off, no easing up. Let's keep going.
Well, in a split second, I think you could basically talk about the way Newcastle have played in this game. As when they're on the ball, they've been confident. When they lose it, they just hunt in packs. You don't get a second on that ball, as we've just witnessed, winning the ball back in that midfield area, and then they start their attack themselves again, which is an excellent way to play if it works for you, and that's something that Eddie Howe certainly works on it while he's been in charge at Newcastle. He's got now the players to do so, and the results follow. I mean, his home record, Mark, since he's been manager, is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I mentioned before about, I think there's only Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool who've actually won at St James's Park. Absolutely superb.
Here come Newcastle now. Anderson on this left-hand side. And now the ball back in Newcastle's half, and a little bit of hush around St James's Park. Job done. There's no impatience from the home fans. They're pretty pleased with what they've seen. They're very pleased with what they've seen, and so they should be. It's been a fantastic performance. Still to come, don't forget, over on TalkSport tonight, the small matter of Sheffield United against Manchester United. TalkSport exclusive Faye Carruthers, Ian Danton, the former Leeds striker Lucy Ward. And on Monday night, only place you there, Spurs against Fulham. Live and exclusive on TalkSport with Adrian Durham, Sam Matterface, and the legend that is Ali McCoist. He's doubling up on Mondays on Sports Breakfast in the morning, and he's off to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to join the guys in commentary for that. And then on Tuesday, well, it's a mixture. You really do need the app out there, because we've got European football, we've got Championship football, all and sundry is covered this week. If you've got the app, you'll be able to swipe left and right between TalkSport and TalkSport 2. If you've not, free and easy in all the usual places. Go download it now. You can get all of our stations on that one app. So simple to use. Click on the live sport icon. It'll take you to all our live games. Palace are trying to work their way forward here as Edouard dramatically falls to the floor, 25 out. He's worked hard, hasn't he, Odsonne Edouard, on very little service, Mickey, but that looked a little bit theatrical. But he's saying, hang on, I'm having a free kick, I'm having a shot goal here.
Yeah, he's won the free kick, he now wants to take it, doesn't he? Look, I think he has worked a lot harder in the second half. I don't think it really worked for him, did it, on this right-hand side in the first 45. He's changed positions 3 times in this game, and I think where he's actually playing now, up front through the middle, seems to work better for him. He holds the ball up a little bit better than Mateta. He's got himself goals this season in the Premier League, so he has got confidence. Maybe that's why he wants to actually stand over this free kick and take it, but I'm sure that Newcastle want to keep a clean sheet now, don't they?
Well, Nick Pope has virtually had nothing to do. He stands centre of his goal, luminous green goalkeeping strip. Ayew is there, he moves away, so it is Odsonne Edouard, who's been in good form recently. 4 goals in the Premier League for him. Can he get a 5th here? He's lining up the shot. comes forward, sends it over, and that's a great save from the keeper. Nick Pope at full stretch. That was going right in the top corner, and Pope gets across to his right and claws it away for a corner. Brilliant free kick, brilliant save.
What a save. Absolutely fantastic. You think about Nick Pope's not really done anything in the game. To stay on his toes like that and pull off that save, absolutely top class.
Another corner comes in. Keeper came to get it, but it's headed away from him. Not cleared yet by Newcastle. They'll get it towards the edge of the area. Palace hook the ball forward, and they're going to try with Lerma to keep it in down the right. Can he earn himself a corner? He's having a bit of a wrestling match, and he does. That's in the end good play from Lerma. Didn't have a lot on there, but he manages to win a corner for Palace. 4-0 though, Newcastle lead here. Is there a consolation for the visitors here as Franca comes across to take the corner kick down the Palace right hand side? Going to swing it in deep towards the 6-yard box. Pope got fingertips on it, wasn't the most convincing. Ball coming back in, is headed away, and Newcastle try and push out over on the far side. We're about to see David Ozo come on for the visitors here, but Newcastle have got a chance on the break here. Isak just couldn't feed Murphy. Not really had a kick, has he, Isak, since he's come on? He's just been running around a lot up top. Here, though, is Raksaki driving forward. He's got Ward outside him. Tries to play it down the byline. Raksaki will keep it in. Back to Ward. There's only two waiting in the middle. It's a good ball in. And Livramento took no chances there. Maybe could add a touch, but decides to knock it out for a corner kick.
Yeah, I think in that situation, as Livramento, he's got his back towards goal. I think initially, as a defender, first and foremost, you just clear your lines, which he's done very well. And again, Joel Ward's not really somebody who has a class as an out-and-out fullback who likes to break forward. He's been in a position on a couple of occasions, but I think it's more hope than anything else when he whips that ball into the box. He's not really trying to pick anybody out.
4 minutes remaining. Referee said he's seen something. Andre Ayew's been called out. Tonali's been called out as well. He's going to have a word with them before he allows this corner to be taken. David Ozo about to come on for Palace. And now the ball about to be whipped in. Palace looking for a late goal, and Ward got a header on it, and it skims off his head and it goes behind for a goal kick. And we are about to see David Ozo come on, and he's coming on for Jefferson Lerma. So 18 years of age here, and he's coming on for just his second league appearance. Both have been from the bench. So 18 years old, Mickey Gray. When he finishes growing, he's going to be some size, isn't he?
He's a big lad, isn't he? And that's great for him. Look, gets an outing at St James's Park in his young career, if you like. Well, you're right, Mark. He's a big lad, isn't he? I mean, if you think about it, if he goes in that midfield area, which it looks like he's doing alongside Decore, two big lads in that central area. But I'll thrill to pieces for him. The more minutes you get in first-team football, the better it's going to be for yourself. And only at 18 years old, he's only going to learn.
Yeah, he is. Tonali does well. Gets it back to Fabian Schär and looks for the crossfield switch. What a pass that is. Livramento over halfway. His touch let him down. Couldn't take it in. It is currently Newcastle 4, Crystal Palace 0. You might not want to get involved with this one on the betting front with William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage. But don't forget the games involving Chelsea and Arsenal and Sheffield United and Manchester United are all available on the on the William Hill app. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly. 4-0 here. And the result, really, that once Jacob Murphy's goal was allowed by VAR on 6 minutes, has only been going one way. Newcastle missed a host of chances first half, but Gordon and Longstaff at the end of that first half made it 3-0 at the break. And Callum Wilson's coolly taken goal on 66 has meant that it's been a pretty easy afternoon for Newcastle. Almiron had a chance to make it 5. Will there be another late goal? Tonali goes forward, gets it away. Little cameo appearance for him. I think we might see more of him in midweek, as Anderson did really well there. Up under pressure against Ozo, did well to ride the challenge. And now forward come Newcastle again. They want one more to send the Toon Army home even more happier than they are now. It'd be a good night in Newcastle, you feel, tonight. Ball out wide over on the far side. And Newcastle just happy to pop it off. What a result this is, by the way. Norwich were 2-0 up against Leeds United. Leeds now 3-2 up. So I mentioned that Daniel Farke might not be enjoying his visit to Norwich. Well, he'll be enjoying it now, all right. Sadly for you, still Stoke 2, Sunderland 1. Leicester now 3-1 up at Swansea. And Watford take the lead against Sheffield Wednesday, who's wait for a win. Looks like it's going to continue. In the Premier League, Wolves have gone in front. Huge game at the bottom. And you'd have to imagine now, pressure, if it stays like that, pressure is building on Iraola at Bournemouth. And what a day that'll be for Gary O'Neill as the Palace defence just playing a little bit of scary stuff at the back. But eventually Johnson clears it away. As Oslo there caught the Newcastle player. Surprised the referee has let it go. He might come back to that. As Newcastle attacking now down the right. We're in the last minute of the 90. Ball working its way forward. Cross comes in, far post. Dealt with by Palace, who will look to advance towards halfway. Here now they have it with Franca. He gets past one. Now feeds it out wide here to Jesran Raksaki. He goes to the edge of the area. A little step over. He's bought himself a yard. Shoots, and another good save from Nick Pope. It was straight at him, and it's probably a good job it was. That was an amazing little run from Jesran Raksaki, who again shows the potential that he's got as we go into 4 added on minutes.
Yeah, really nice move again there from Crystal Palace. Worked it well down the right hand side, didn't he? Raksaki. I think Roy Hodgson, I mentioned it earlier about the substitutes making an impact when they come off the bench. Well, Matthias Frank has done very well. He's had a super little strike just over the top of the crossbar, and this time Raksaki over this right hand side, just ever the right, lovely little step over to get away from his man, kept it low. Nick Pope, super save, not really been called on too much, but when he has done today, the goalkeeper's certainly been in the right place at the right time. Pulled off a super save from the free kick from Edouard, didn't he? And then again there in a 1v1 situation, just stood tall and made the save, got his body in the way.
Yeah, we mentioned that. Bournemouth 1, Wolves 2. Matthias Cunha and Kalajic with a goal. Lewis Cook was sent off 9 minutes into the second half, remember, for Bournemouth. So another tough day for them. There's a Palace player down in the penalty area of Newcastle, so they're going to stop play. Brentford are 3-0 up over Burnley. Manchester City 2, Brighton 1. Ansu Fati got a goal back with 17 minutes left. They're in the late stages there. And I believe that Adebayo has just equalised for Luton. Nottingham Forest went 2-0 up courtesy of 2 Chris Wood goals. Ogbene got one back for Luton, and we believe they have equalised in added on time. Forest 2, Luton 2. Could be a huge point. We do of course hold our breath because there may be a VAR check there, so we need to be careful about that, but it's 2-2 at the moment. Earlier on, Liverpool 2, Everton 0. 5:30 Chelsea against Arsenal, then live tonight, live and exclusive, Sheffield United against Manchester United, and it's sure to be an emotional occasion. The terribly sad news reaching us earlier on this afternoon regarding the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton at the age of 86, a World Cup winner, a European Cup winner with Manchester United, 106 caps for England, 49 goals, and one of the famous few that have won a World Cup, a football World Cup for England. And of course, with the women's team losing in the final, our wait for more World Cup winners goes on. But Mickey Gray, our TalkSport's Manchester correspondent, really sad day, isn't it? We've lost one of the true greats of world football.
Well, somebody whose legacy is going to live on forever, Mark. There's no question of that. And you know, living around the Manchester area as well, and actually growing up and starting my career at Manchester United, where Bobby Charlton was around for such a long period of time. I mean, he's just an iconic figure, isn't he, in Manchester? And I think the country will come to a standstill, and it's going to be very emotional, that 8 o'clock kick-off against Sheffield United this evening as well. And I'm sure the black armbands and everything are going to be around, but yeah, absolutely, and rightly so.
Yeah, you can get your calls in on the full-time phone and pay your tribute to a sporting great from 5:30, as Tonali's going to try and switch play across to the far side. Newcastle looking for a 5th goal. It's Hudson Edouard who was injured. He has just come back on the field. He looked a little bit in discomfort, but he's back on the field now as we are into added on time here. Be a little bit more added on time given that injury to Hudson Edouard, but it is 4-0 to Newcastle here. Don't forget, 6 o'clock tonight on TalkSport 2 you can hear a special programme to mark the career and the life of Sir Bobby Charlton, who passed away earlier today. It is a result, by the way, at Bournemouth. Bournemouth 1, Wolves 2. Huge result for Gary O'Neill and Wolverhampton Wanderers. And there'll be a lot of people who'll have a smile at that result, Mickey, and say, good on you for going there and proving them wrong.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I think everybody was surprised when he lost his job, because they did an incredible job at Bournemouth, keeping them in, first and foremost in the Premier League. And it was so pleasing, wasn't it, to see him get back into football as quick as he possibly done. And I think overall, when you look at the performances that Wolves have had this season, albeit some of the games they didn't get what they deserved, certainly one of them that springs off the pages against Manchester United, but he's doing really well. Walked in the door 2 or 3 days before the season started, but they're getting the results now.
They are, and Newcastle are getting the results as well as the full-time whistle goes here